Hey, welcome back, everybody, to a very special edition of OC Spotlight, the only show that shows you the most incredible people doing the most amazing things right here in your own backyard. And today, literally, we're going to be in backyards releasing butterflies. What a wonderful thing. Can you believe it? Somebody has built a business around raising butterflies and releasing them at homes and special events, from weddings to funerals to birthday parties to kids' parties to all sorts of crazy things. We're going to meet the guy behind this, Darryl Swartz. Let's cut to the studio here and welcome you in. Thanks for joining us here today here. And you got to get real close to the mic there, yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
So we're going to do something we don't normally do on this show. Normally I'm off camera. I'm going to walk into the camera shot here because I'm going to be Darryl's trained assistant here, his trained butterfly assistant here. And we're going to just thank you for coming here. Can I tell you how special butterflies are to me? I'm going to sound like some sappy guy here, but I have a garden, a pretty big garden in the back of my yard in South Orange County. And we can see the canyon, and there are lots of butterflies that come in. We're always trying to attract ladybugs and butterflies and hummingbirds, and we research and plant all sorts of stuff in the back here. And my grandkids come over, and they're just crazy about all this stuff here. They come on and help me water it, and we look for bugs, and we look for caterpillars and all stuff. But I hear, I've lived there now 20 years, butterflies aren't doing so good. Butterflies are disappearing. I don't see as many as I used to. Talk about that a little bit here.
Well, it's kind of a two-part answer, but the first thing I want to see is we can totally increase the amount of butterflies that you have in your backyard.
Good. Okay.
We're
going to talk about plants and butterflies and some other things.
There's a specific strategy that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lady out in La Habra.
Okay.
And she called me up because she wanted to learn about butterflies, and this was before I really knew much about them.
Right.
I started off basically importing them from Florida and selling them, breaking them down for weddings and funerals. And
we're going to talk about how you even came up with this crazy idea in a moment here, but let's finish the story about butterflies here, yeah.
So she called me up and she says, do you have a minute? And I actually was parked somewhere waiting for somebody, so I had a minute.
Right.
And she says, I want to pick your brain and learn about butterflies. Well, I didn't know much. All I knew about was painted ladies.
Mm-hmm. We're going to show some of those today. We got some painted ladies here somewhere.
They're nice, and we've got some, and we can let them go after the show. I brought like 20 of them.
These are, I don't even know if we can see.
They're basically
it's hard. The camera's going to have trouble seeing through these things here, but
they're very beautiful. We'll have web pages that you can go to and see pictures of them. But we have
they kind of look like monarchs, but smaller ones.
We have monarchs and painted ladies here. But
we're not doing justice to this, folks. Here, I wish you could see what I could see this close here. The camera and this stuff. Everybody's got a whole bunch of them already grown in here.
After talking to this lady, she was telling me about how her mom would sit in the backyard and drink coffee in the mornings, and she'd see 7 different kind of butterflies. And I thought, well, I'd like to see 7 kind of butterflies. I would see painted ladies in that.
What's the little buckeyes, the little white ones or something?
There's white butterflies.
Ones that hug the ground.
Cabbage whites.
Okay.
And there's a.
I went to a class once, and
there's
a
term that people need to learn that will teach them how to attract butterflies.
Okay. But before you do that, let's talk about, so they are endangered, or they're being...
The monarch butterflies, depending on who you read, are anywhere from 95 to 90%, 99% gone on the West Coast.
Wow.
And if you notice, you'll see it. You can flat see them. They're not
over 20 years. There used to be a lot of them in our backyard because it backs up to this kind of arroyo canyon, and now I see few.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. Climate change, pesticides, Roundup.
Oh, so it's not just Midwest, overdevelopment. It's too many things.
Habitat loss.
Right.
All together, climate change changes the storms and weather patterns and the growth cycles of the plants, and there are times the monarchs do something that is just magical. They
put a smile on my face. I don't know what more magic you can do. Or
I call these the magic plants, because wherever you put them, monarchs will come.
Yes.
No matter what, and that's the key to it. We'll go into that in a second. But the monarchs spend the winter in Mexico. in a mountain way down by Guatemala.
Yes, right. I've read about this.
They fly to Canada like the whales do. They go from Mexico to Canada.
This
They
little
fly.
tiny butterfly goes all the way
Well,
from
this is
Mexico to
this is
Canada.
even more bizarre. It takes them 4 generations to make the trip, 3 generations to go north.
Oh my goodness.
A generation means they fly, like, let's say, to San Diego or Texas. They
Right.
lay eggs and die. If they have milkweed. If not, they just die,
Right.
right? But if they have milkweed, they lay eggs, they die. The egg turns into a caterpillar, turns into a chrysalis, metamorphoses into the adult butterfly.
And now
They
they're
go-
children, the
they
next
go
second
to, like,
generation.
Oklahoma, and they lay eggs and die. They go to like Canada and Michigan, and then when it starts
Michigan,
getting cold, they fly all the way back to like 3,000 miles, of one of the longest migrations in the world, all the way back down to Mexico, and they do it every year.
And do they fly back in one fell
Yes,
swoop, or do
one generation, the super generation, or they call it the Methuselah generation, because it lives a long time. It's old.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of nice. It's funny to see butterflies. Sometimes you'll see them in your yard. And I went about 10 years ago. I went.
I can't stop smiling just
I
thinking
went
about this.
about 3 years in a row where there were monarchs and caterpillars in our backyard every day.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, it's been less and less and less every year.
Right.
So there's a couple things. The monarchs actually have a double whammy on them. About 20 years ago, people started planting a non-native species.
I had no idea, folks. This
So-
is for those you looking. That's why I read this up. This is what they thrive on. This is what they look for. This is just milkweed.
Well, it's a special milkweed. It's a magic milkweed.
Exactly.
The non-native, and anytime you introduce a non-native species into an ecosystem,
Bad things happen.
or we don't know what's going to happen, they're always
right.
bad, right? And you never know what's going to happen.
Because
So-
I only knew there was one kind, and I've
They have-
gone to Home Depot or Lowe's to try and
And-
find milkweed.
and they sell out as fast as they can find it.
Right.
And it's got yellow flowers or red flowers, or the pretty ones they've been bred together have orange flowers or red yellow together.
And how tall is it? It goes pretty tall. It's like a bush,
they grow
isn't it?
about the same. Yeah, it's about a bush, and it will spread. These ones, after they get established, will spread by rhizomes or their roots and pop up and make a new one.
Okay.
They have very beautiful white.
And are they annuals? Do they grow and die?
Well, that's the reason that the tropical non-native milkweed kills the monarchs. This native milkweed goes dormant every year.
Mm-hmm.
The non-native never goes dormant.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the key. There's a disease that the monarchs have. It's called OE. It's a parasitic spore. And it's co-evolved with the monarchs for millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, in the northern climates like Canada, Michigan, there's very low levels of OE.
Because there's winter.
Florida, Texas, California, very high levels.
Mm-hmm.
They can live with it. They've had it for millions of years. However, when the female lays her egg on the bottom of the plant, she gets a little bit of the OE on the leaf.
Mm-hmm.
The egg hatches, eats its shell, eats the skin of the leaf, eats some of the OE spores. In the winter, this goes dormant. So in the springtime, you have clean, disease, OE-free leaves.
Mm-hmm.
The tropical milkweed never goes dormant. So in the springtime, your OE count is not zero, it's cumulative.
Yeah, right.
And it reaches levels that wipe out entire monarch populations.
And of course, if I'm a home gardener, and I want the stuff that's going to look pretty and flowery and full year round. So I might fall for this tropical.
The tropical non-native milkweed grows faster,
There you go.
which provides more food for the monarchs. Even if you cut it back every year, the seeds are they go everywhere, and they become wild and
Right.
invasive, and the OE counts load up to the point where it wipes out. And they didn't know this 20 years ago when they started.
They introduced it.
Right.
So how would I know? If I'm looking at milkweed, it all looks it looks like a weed. It does look like milkweed. It looks like a weed.
Well, it actually gets really pretty white and violet flowers on it.
Okay.
And it gets about 4 to 5 feet tall, and it will spread.
Okay.
But there are people that don't think it looks as good as the tropical non-native invasive tropical milkweed. It has orange and yellow flowers, which are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of flowers, but it kills the monarchs.
Nice.
The monarchs will lay eggs on it, and then and it's actually pretty grisly to look at. When you watch they make it all the way to chrysalis, and then when they come out, their wings don't unfold.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
they just are crumpled. And
So how would I tell one from the other? That's the takeaway.
there's a huge difference in the look.
Okay.
And we'll have it on our website.
Give us the website. We're going to ask for it a couple of times here today.
EmmasButterflyRanch.com. EMMAS.
Oh,
Butterfly
see, they're
Ranch.
calling in right now.
There you go. Okay.
The phone's ringing off the hook right now. Emma.
Good.
Now, you're not Emma, though.
No, I'm not Emma. Emma was a friend of mine that we actually started this business with.
Gotcha.
I had been doing it with my kids in the living room. I bought a entrepreneur magazine.
There you go.
Oh, I don't know, maybe
Creative
over
ideas.
20 years ago, right?
Right.
And it said the 100 top businesses in the U.S.
There you go, folks. Butterfly
So
business.
said McDonald's, $1 million.
Clearly.
Jiffy Lube, $500,000. Number 99 was Butterfly Ranch for $50. Right.
Little
So,
difference there. And you had
I
done.
sent in for this. I sent
Little
in for
kit?
it. It was a notebook, a 3-ring binder, but it told you everything to do,
Yeah.
and I did it.
And this was a series. You'd done some other entrepreneurial things. You'd been in bar schools and other crazy
I owned
things.
3 bartending schools and a casino dealing school, and it
So
was great
naturally,
fun.
you had to have a butterfly
Right,
thing.
and we were doing butterflies part time, and then I don't know what hit me, that
And
I
this
thought-
is kind of your second act career, because for most of your life
Sure.
you were had something to do with aviation school, commercial aviation school.
Yes,
or
I worked
something?
for Spartan School of Aeronautics for over 10 years as the California rep.
Right.
And, I would just talk to people about flying airplanes. I'm a pilot, so if they wanted to be a pilot, I'd tell them this is what you
So
do.
is there any connection between the pilot and you,
There's
and the pilot of the butterflies
there
here?
probably is. I'm probably jealous of the fact that they get to fly a lot more than I do.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I was originally thought I'd be an astronaut or a fighter
cool.
pilot, and actually was accepted to the Air Force Academy and started
Look
doing
at
that.
Wow.
But I didn't fly as much as I thought I was gonna.
Yeah.
And
One of my very good friends always dreamed of going to the Air Force Academy. Didn't make it, and went off in a whole different career, very successful career, but always kind of, sad that he didn't fulfill that dream a little bit here.
it's a bizarre place. They have
I've been there. Yeah.
they have a rock out front. Have you seen the rock?
I
They
only
call
went there
it
once. Just
Freshman Rock.
okay.
It's the size of this building,
Okay.
and all
This
the
is in
freshmen.
Colorado somewhere,
It's in
yeah.
Colorado Springs,
Right.
and all the freshmen go underneath the rock and pick it up.
What?
All the freshman class pick up this. Can I say
Go look that up.
stupid rock?
Yeah. Pet rock.
They pick up this large rock,
Right.
and I was honestly, it scared me. I thought, what if they
Get
slip or
crushed,
somebody hit,
yeah.
right? And there's a mountain, and they point to it. They go, "That's where you put the rock and spend the night there."
Oh, my
and then
goodness.
the next day you bring it back.
See,
right?
you think this isn't a
And
good
I
business,
thought-
folks. Look at this thing has been ringing constantly. He could turn it off. He just wants to show you how many phone calls he gets
Actually,
there.
maybe I should.
All right, so what was it? Just that the entrepreneurial urge? Was there any fascination
Well,
with butterflies and the environment and all these good things, or was just like this would be something fun? I'm
It was-
sort of
it was-
retired from this other business. I got kids and grand.
It was just all for fun, and then it was for money. We started doing a lot of weddings and funerals, and then when I found out about the host plant part of this,
Yeah.
and then I started finding out about the environmental side of this,
It's a good thing. Feel good about it.
and the way that they tie together.
Yeah, right.
One of our accomplishments that we're fairly proud of is recently we did a project with the city of Paramount, where they took a community garden. And we converted it into a community garden / Monarch Way Station Butterfly Sanctuary. We put a couple hundred.
That wouldn't you like to have one of those in your town here,
We
right?
put a couple hundred magic or host plants, and I'll explain what that means in a second.
This milkweed kind of stuff.
Well, milkweed, here's the deal. Milkweed is the host plant or the magic plant for monarch butterflies.
right.
But if you notice, in there with the painted ladies, there's a different
I
plant.
wish we could. I don't want to let him out because we'll never get him back in. But it is amazing to see. I'm sure that the camera can't really see through this opaque But it's spectacular. I wish I'll see if I can walk up. I don't even know if I can see if this looks. Will it even show on the camera there, flying around?
You might try the monarchs. They're a little bigger.
We'll try that just for the heck of it here. I have no idea what this is looking like. I'm trying to look back and look at the camera here. Yeah, you can start to see some of them there clinging to the top there.
The city of Paramount, what they're doing is they turned it into a monarch way station because the monarchs are endangered.
Right.
They turned it into a butterfly sanctuary because all butterflies their populations are threatened.
Right.
And
what
most of
kids
it is
in community wouldn't love that project.
Right, and then they're using it for education. It's right next to their school, so the school's using it, the Girl Scouts are using it, and the community's using it. And it is advertising their community garden, which is one of the steps of helping the earth.
I've seen some community gardens. I live in South Orange County. There's one at a park. I can't remember the name of the park. General somebody. It's the one outside of Coto de Caza there. And they have next to the little ranger station, they have a garden they've built with all this kind of plant material. Okay. And once a year they say, hey, the monarchs are coming. And
Saddleback Church has a butterfly garden. They have a butterfly enclosure at their community garden. They grow a lot of food for the community, and they're trying to,
they do grow a lot of food for the community. Yeah.
They tie them together. Right. They one is basically one promotes the other.
You should talk. Have you talked to South County Outreach? Does a show with us here. They have all these food banks, and they're always trying to help. They don't grow their own food, but they work with people who grow food and then take it directly to those in need, and other food banks they distribute it to them. Among other things they do. Maybe there's some way to bring this.
There might be. Now the way the host plant is the key to basically attracting butterflies to and saving them. Each butterfly has one specific plant that I call it the magic plant, but the real term is host. And what that means is that it's the only food that the caterpillar could eat.
One plant.
And people don't kind of think about this. They probably haven't thought about butterflies since the second or third grade when you had to learn it, and that was about it, right?
They go from
maybe your mom bought you one of these,
exactly,
and you forgot about it. But
that's what they grow in, by the way. Let's hold that up again. You do sell these little kits here, right?
That's called a life cycle kit. It's 4 painted ladies in a cup. In a week.
I see them. You can't see the camera. Can't come in this close. Tiny little things.
Little teeny caterpillars are going to be full-grown butterflies in 2
And what
weeks.
is this that they're eating on here? It's like
That's
a paste.
A special diet so that everything will happen in the cup.
Okay.
Most butterflies only eat leaves, and what I didn't know until that lady called me from La Habra, and then I read this article. I did a little research. Most people, when they want a butterfly garden, they plant flowers. And that's actually correct. All the adult butterflies in the area will come and they will nectar from your flower.
Okay.
But they'll leave.
Right.
Because they're looking for food for the babies.
Ah.
And each butterfly has one food for the babies, or the magic plant, or the host plant. For monarch butterflies, it's native, not non-native, not
the one
tropical,
we went through that, right?
But native.
See,
native.
Still coming in here.
The native milkweed will, wherever you put it in Southern California, anywhere, wherever you put it, you're going to see monarch butterflies.
It's adapted to this climate. It'll grow easily.
And it's the only food the caterpillar will eat.
Okay.
The female monarch will smell it from 2 miles away.
Really? They can smell?
With their feet. And she will fly to it, taste it with her feet, make sure, yep, this is milkweed.
This is good.
She will put her butt on the bottom of the leaf, an egg will stick to it, and she'll fly away.
Wow.
And you're going to...
And they're very tiny, these little caterpillars. I wish I had a close-up camera here we could show you.
We have some monarch chrysalis.
Like half the size of my fingernail.
Monarch chrysalis in there, which are beautiful. So wherever you put milkweed, you're going to get monarchs.
Okay.
Wherever
Guaranteed.
Wherever you put hollyhock, you're going to get painted ladies.
Hollyhock. I don't even know what hollyhock looks like.
There's a little host plant index that we've sent to Ashley.
Okay.
So that'll be
That's
available.
That's who booked the show
everybody.
for us here. We'll get that out.
And it shows a picture of the plant, like milkweed, and a picture of the monarch. It shows a picture of hollyhock and a picture of the painted lady. It shows a picture of passion vine and the Gulf literary.
The passion vine is one somebody gave this to me, and it has a big kind of passion fruit flower. Or something.
Yeah, it's a beautiful flower. It looks
And
like it comes from Hawaii.
It does, and it grew on the whole side of my house.
Yes,
I planted
yes.
something. I couldn't believe how big this thing got. And this special butterfly,
It's metallic or effervescent color on the bottom.
yes,
And it's a bright orange on the top.
I had never seen it, and
It's
by
the
God,
most
it
gorgeous
just
butterfly.
came. Again, it's this vine I put on the side of the house where there was kind of shade,
If
and
you
it
plant it, they will come.
they do.
I know. It's
Okay.
right?
So there's lots of different butterflies. We all know about the monarchs, the
You
painted
plant
ladies.
passion vine has the most gorgeous flower.
it really does.
It's a gorgeous flower, and you get a whole colony of bright orange butterflies.
Yeah.
There's a tree that has yellow flowers. It's called the cassia. It's beautiful.
Okay.
You get bright yellow butterflies called the cloudless sulfur. It's the brightest yellow you ever seen.
So how many different kinds of butterflies? Hundreds, thousands, millions? Are there lots of different?
There's in California hundreds.
Okay.
There's a butterfly called the dog-faced butterfly.
Dog-faced butterfly.
Dog-faced butterfly. If you have a phone, just type
Google
in dog-faced butterfly, and it's almost like an optical illusion because some people don't see it at first.
Yeah.
But it's a dog's face. It's a profile of a dog's face in a
Dog-faced
a
butterfly.
black against yellow background, and you don't always see it until you see then you see it, the eye and the lips and the face, and then you can't unsee it.
Yeah, right.
And what's interesting about that butterfly, false indigo, is its host plant, and it lives up in the foothills.
Mm-hmm.
There's a class in Sacramento, second, third grade class,
Mm-hmm.
that lobbied their teacher who knew somebody in the California state legislature to make it the California state butterfly.
You're kidding. I didn't
No.
even know we had a state butterfly.
We,
Okay.
and it's thanks to some elementary school kids that liked this butterfly,
Right.
and their teacher that had a friend in the legislature, and it's
They make
now
it.
yes, it's the official state butterfly, the
Who knew?
dog-faced butterfly.
All right, we're running out of time rapidly here, and we
Okay.
could talk for hours about how cool butterflies are, how threatened they are in our environment, how easy it is to provide them native plants in your own home and garden, up the side for that. What's it called? Passion flower?
Passion vine.
Passion vine.
Passion
really?
flower, passion fruit.
Somebody handed me one. I don't even know where they bought it. Can you get that anywhere in Home Depot, or would you have to go to a nursery? Probably.
You can get it from Emma's Butterfly Ranch.
That's where you get it. Emma's Butterfly Ranch.
Yes.
I want you to take that away. So, do you sell the plants?
Yes.
Do you
that's what that we started doing that as a way to give back. We want
So you got a big space where you
we've got
grow
a big
these things?
space where every year we do thousands of milkweed. We do cassia trees. We do willow tree. Willow tree will bring you a black butterfly with a white trim called morning cloak.
I haven't seen that since Michigan. I grew up in Michigan.
The weeping willows.
The weeping willows are everywhere around the lakes there.
It's the only butter. It's the only food. The leaf is the only food that the morning cloak caterpillar will eat. And they do something interesting. Like the monarch, she does 1 egg per plant.
Right.
Unless there's not enough plants, then she egg bombs you. But the
Egg bombs. You get egg bombed.
the morning cloak, she lays 200 eggs in a dime-sized pattern.
Yeah.
They all emerge and group feed. They try to look like something bigger, right, to
I
scare
see.
the birds away.
Yeah.
So their whole gang will eat a branch.
It's
and
a gang
just
of
big-
butterflies, yeah.
Well, caterpillars.
Oh, caterpillars.
And they're black and they just go along the branch and they look like some huge creature.
Don't wipe these things out if you see them either. Don't say, oh, they got worms and they're going to kill my plants or something. Here.
The first time we were at the Natural History Museum at the Bug Fair,
Stop for 1 second. If you haven't checked it out, downtown Los Angeles, Natural History Museum. Huge event. It's the biggest one I know of where they have an indoor place you can go see butterflies and walk amongst them and all that.
We have one in our backyard. It'll be open next May.
Ah, okay.
It's I like it better because the ceiling's low.
Uh-huh.
And you get more butterfly exposure rather than having like a
Way
plump
up,
hanger
like-
where they're way up there and you can't see them.
Right. And I have seen at other events. I know the Natural Pet Expo and some of these other things, they have these same enclosures and they charge you a couple bucks and you walk through it. But you made a business out of it. That's what we want to end with here today. We could learn a lot about butterflies at Emma's Butterfly Ranch. Okay.
.com.
You can buy the plants, the real plants, the good plants, the right plants. You sell these little chrysalis cups. What do we call life cycle cups?
Life cycle, the caterpillars in a cup.
And this takes about 2 weeks for them to go from one to the next?
Takes about 2 weeks.
They're ordering them right now.
2 weeks for it to go from everything takes 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days as an egg, but you're not getting the egg.
And then once it is, you just open it up and set it
and let
free.
the butterfly go.
Do you sing "Born Free" or anything? I'm dating myself.
You have to. You have a butterfly release party.
Yeah.
We've got videos of kids squealing. The kids absolutely love it. You just show them this turns into that, and they're like, "What? Really?"
My grandson.
And then they watch it happen.
Right.
And every day they can't wait for it to happen. And then when it does,
I have a friend, very successful
pretty cool.
attorney here in Long Beach, and he can't understand. But his wife got hooked on this. Somebody gave her one of these things. Now she has 50 of them or something in the backyard, and the plants and the whole thing. She's become an advocate. I know others do the same thing.
There
like
are
this.
people that feel, I'll just put it, they feel so strongly about it.
Yes, exactly.
They want to outlaw tropical milkweed. They hate with a passion anybody that sells tropical milkweed.
Right.
They hate Home Depot. They hate Lowe's. You know,
Right, because they're selling this.
There's stuff that kills the monarchs, right?
Crazy.
And it is bad for the monarchs. Okay, it's very difficult to get people to help the monarchs.
Right.
So now, I'm going to help them. I go to Home Depots and I'm killing them by the plant.
Because you think you're right. It says milkweed. Okay, I'll go grab it here.
That's not right.
So get it from Emma's Butterfly Ranch. Get the real deal.
native.
Is this expensive? It doesn't look
No,
expensive.
these are $5. We have $5, $10, $20
For a whole
depending on
tray
how
like this, or
no,
just
per plant.
okay? So this little
This is
that little thing right
this
there.
is a little starter milkweed.
$5. And how much are these things?
Those are $5 per caterpillar.
Oh, come on.
So that
crazy.
we package 4 in there.
$20. You're going to have a little butterfly party here in a couple weeks, and then the core business.
One of the things I was going to tell you is that for our core business, which is like funerals and weddings,
where they hire you and you release them.
Well, they pick them up. They pick the butterflies up.
They release them.
They release them. But if you order them from Florida or actually anybody else, you have to pay for overnight shipping.
Yeah, because they'll die.
They have to be shipped overnight, which costs $50 to $75 just for the shipping, which gives us a huge competitive advantage.
And I bet a bunch of them are dead when they come, too.
People don't want to ship their butterflies on an airplane overnight through UPS. They want to drive to my house in
Pick them up.
Riverside. Refreshing Riverside.
Refreshing Riverside. Is that why you have oranges in the bottom here?
Yes. Well, those are to feed the butterflies with. But, we can always beat the price when we subtract the no delivery
What's
fee.
the price? And it can't be that expensive. You do something special.
They start off in the $5-6 range for butterflies for like a funeral or a wedding.
Right.
And
what do you get? 100 of them or 50 of them or something like that? 20 of them or something?
They range from 25. Some people get a dozen.
Right.
But certain like Green Hills Mortuary, they always get 100 every time there's a funeral.
And you said
birthdays are 50
I would have thought
or
it's
100.
happy times, weddings. But you say the biggest business is because you're sort of the soul is leaving.
I think it has something to do with the metamorphosis, right?
Right.
The change.
There you go.
The symbolism. Because I've had people be happy with 2 butterflies or 200 butterflies.
Right.
Because it symbolizes this change
From one
that we don't understand, right?
That we don't understand, exactly.
So we've signed up when we were born to make this change at the end of the deal, right? And
we hope that we do continue to soar and that we go somewhere, right?
For sure. Like everybody we asked.
I'm a good Irish Catholic. I got to believe, but nobody knows.
There's nobody coming back to confirm it for you, right?
Well, we think one guy did. If you're a Catholic or Christian, you think one guy came back.
And maybe he came to the U.S., right? If you're in Utah.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
I don't know.
Go look up Mormon theology. That joke will make sense.
What I do know is that there's a lot of cultures that believe in the symbolism.
Yes.
Right. The Native Americans, they do. I found out that they do it 1 year on the year anniversary of the passing. I was told by one of them that the soul will
what a beautiful symbol.
Stay around the earth until it goes to the big spirit in the sky a year later. You have to release a butterfly to
guide it, to show it the way, to carry it, to encourage it, something. What a beautiful thought that is, because we all talk about it. We've all experienced my parents, late parents, and you try and what do you do in that 1 year anniversary except cry?
I have families that come to me every year because the first year the butterflies landed on the urn, they landed on the flowers that were on the.
I had a friend of mine.
We have brides that spray sugar water on their flowers, and the butterflies.
Is that what we were spraying, kind of a sugar water here?
No, that was regular water on Gatorade.
So,
sorry.
I'm going to tell you a story. Very good friend of mine. Parents died. Mother had a lovely garden, loved the hummingbirds and the butterflies. And they come back from the funeral. He says, honest to God, he said, I don't know if I believe this or I'm just trying to see this, but where suddenly the butterflies appear and land again here. And he's like, oh my God, is this a symbol? Is mom here or something? Why do we want to see something symbolic about this?
Well,
and I think it is the metamorphosis.
There is something to it, because I hear that story almost every day. Mm-hmm.
Butterfly comes and lands on the urn.
It followed me for 3 days.
Yeah.
We'd never seen butterflies before, and here they were doing cartwheels on our, on our car, on my hand. It landed on me.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That's always unusual. I've had it happen a couple times where a butterfly lands on me. That's amazing.
Right, but when it happens right after something like that, or right at that time, people can. And whether it's true or not, the fact that I hear that story so much tells me that there's something happening. Don't know exactly what it is, but I hear that story so much that I know what happens.
Even you got to believe her.
Well, I have to. I mean, so many people are witnessing that this happens.
So funerals, there's a great idea if you want to add, because people struggle today. I'm a Catholic, so there's very prescribed the funeral process, and I think that helps to go through it. But 90% of people don't belong to anything anymore. Are huge. I don't know if it's 90%. Huge amount of people. And when it comes to that moment of death, I know they can't even say the word death. They've moved on. We've lost them. But when you lose somebody, they don't know what to do. And I go to these awkward ceremonies where anybody want to say anything, a few people mumble and stumble around, and nobody knows what to do to as a fitting memorial, as a tribute, as a way to say something.
I have a poem that we give to all of our customers. We call it a celebration of life package, and it comes with this poem. And the poem, I don't have it in front of me, but it goes basically, a butterfly lights beside us. And like a beam of sunshine, its beauty and glory are of this world. Mm-hmm. Then it flies off again, and rather than be sad, we feel blessed to have seen it.
Look at that. Well, I'm blessed to have seen these today.
Then they let them go, and everyone cries and goes get drunk, right? And then
if it's an Irish party, they do. Well, feel touched that you came in and saw these, that you showed us there is a world of hope. And that you have found, well, I got to say, one of the coolest, most happy businesses. Every day you go to work, you're raising these things, you're watching this amazing metamorphosis, you're helping the environment save the planet. And whether it's a funeral, a sad occasion, or a wedding, a joyous occasion, instead of doves, why not release butterflies? Or just a kid's party, get a big bounce house, buy the bugs, put them inside, and watch people go crazy. And at the end, they just open the door?
Yep, they fly away.
Fly away.
And sometimes come back.
Wow. Well, I hope you'll come back sometime and tell us more about butterflies and the world of butterflies. Once again, if people want to reach you, Emma's Butterfly Ranch. You're somewhere in Riverside?
Yes.
And you got a spread and you grow this stuff and you do all these things.
Yep.
And people can drive out and buy them, or they can go to your website and order the plants, and they can order these little cups. I hope you're going to give me one of these here today.
Oh, we are. That's for your
I'm going to take this to my grandkids.
Oh, they're going to love it.
4 and 10.
Ideal.
And they're all, because I'm trying to get them out into space. Here's a parental thought, or a grandparent thought. My grandkids come over every week because my daughter and son-in-law work. Okay.
Right.
So and we love it and they love it. We're the free babysitter. We're always trying to figure out what to do other than have them on the iPad watching YouTube, which is what they will do all day long. So I drag them out. We live in South County. We have a canyon near us and off our backyard, and we walk down, and there's a river down there, and there's frogs and tadpoles and butterflies and things. These kids never see any of this stuff. They don't know what this stuff looks like. When I grew up as a kid in the Midwest, I grew up in Michigan, that's all we did. They turned the doors open, and we just played all day in the woods or the fields or whatever. Nobody does that experiment. Maybe because they're afraid to let the kids out, or maybe because they're so into technology, or both. But these kids are growing up without an understanding and awareness of the world around them.
They need these community garden, butterfly sanctuary places to help teach them about outside.
Exactly.
One of the things I hadn't mentioned is the butterflies, the monarchs, and all butterflies. They're an indicator species.
Are we healthy or not healthy? Is this good or bad?
Species as indicator as all species, but especially indicator species start going extinct. It shows how unhealthy our environment
like
is.
Bees, there's always
And
this problem with a collapse of bee colonies, and
it's like the canary in the coal mine.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And I know young people don't know
what that
is.
analogy is.
But
in the old days, they'd put a canary in a cage in the coal mine, and when the canary conked over, they said, "Oh, there's probably some gas in
so it's time to run."
Time to run. Yeah, exactly.
So when the butterflies are dying, it's time to run.
Yeah.
Right. And only Elon Musk's going to make it to Mars and his family. So we're either going to run or fix what we got.
Fix it. Starts with a simple step, a simple thing. Couple of bucks. Get a plant. Get this. Teach your kids.
Save the monarchs.
Save the monarchs.
Start
plant some
planting
of
your
these.
own food. What we got into our own food because of this. If I'm planting food for the monarchs, might as well plant some radishes for me,
Tomatoes,
some onions, tomatoes, some peppers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one hand, led the other, and there's companion plants. You can feed them and yourself.
All of this and more you can learn by going to your website.
A tomato, right, from your yard versus one crappy one from the store that has got a giant carbon footprint.
And I'm terrible at that. I do like gardening, but we're trying to grow some tomatoes now, and it is amazing the few little ones we plop.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
They're good for you.
Well, this is good for us. It's good for your. It's good for your, and it's good for your community. It's good for the environment. It's good for the butterflies. Great for your kids, and it makes you feel good. So why not go to Emma's Butterfly Ranch, learn up, read up, get some little plants, get some little what do we call these? Life
cycle kits or caterpillars in a cup.
Caterpillars in a cup. And if you're thinking of a special party, you wanted some. Every parent I know in South Orange County, we're all trying to outdo each other for kids' birthday parties. We've all had the bouncy house, we've all had the clown, whatever we can do. How about butterflies?
A butterfly enclosures, they love it.
Wow.
Paul, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
This is a great story.
And, thank Ashley for calling me, letting me know about this.
Absolutely. And again, I hope you will come back. I will shake your hand here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to step out of the picture here while he's holding up some of the butterflies, and I'm going to run the credits, and thank you for coming in. Join us again. Well, there you have it. One more reason to tune in as we watch one of the butterflies emerge. Here on this week's OC Spotlight, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.